People get really, really upset about this kind of information, but it is just what it is because it's just a fact. So here we go. So the word Elohim. Now, if we look in the Bible, specifically, the earlier Bibles, Geneva Bibles, like the earlier Hebrew Bibles, all the earlier Bibles, you'll see the word Elohim for God, not God. They gave us the word God in the newer Bibles, King James Bibles, whatever. All the newer stuff, we see God. If you look back in the earlier stuff, again, you're going to see Elohim. If you look up the word Elohim, what you're going to see is that the definition is like the supreme God or the almighty God. You're going to see that. That's what they tell us Elohim is. The problem is, if you want to understand what the ancient people, because Elohim comes from ancient times, it's an old word, all right? And granted, it's been retranslated into newer languages, but it's an older word. So Elohim, if you look at what it meant years ago and not what it means now, El was a god back then. The god El. It's that simple. Like, I believe too, way back when words were easier. Like, there was a god called Set, and that was as simple as sun set. When the sun went away and it got dark out, that was an evil entity, and that was the god Set. And the god Set was fighting with the god of light, the day god. And that's literally what it boils down to. When you keep going further and further and further and further back, it's like light against day. And these words that we get all come from back then. So when you see El comes from the god that they happen to be worshiping thousands of years ago. And that's where you get the words illuminated from, the words elevated from, words like that. Now, older Germanic spellings of these words were different. When we, Romanize them and change the words, we change the spelling oftentimes, and we changed I's to E's, E's to I's, things like that. But El was the god they were worshiping. Now, Ohim, way back when, and this is what I'm talking about, I want to learn, and I'm trying to teach people the meanings of the words then, because that's what I want to know. Because just because you change the meaning of a word doesn't mean that the word changes. You get what I'm saying? So we get all these words and we get the current meanings, but if it's the wrong meaning, then what good is the word? You don't understand the correct meaning. What good is the word? You might as well not know the word because you don't know what the word means. So how do we learn what the word means? We go way back. Now, Ohim is actually pluralizing the word God. So what we're saying, Elohim, is gods, and it's a feminine plural, Ohim. So it's a feminine plural of gods. So what they're saying, what Elohim is saying, is gods. So when they say that Elohim created man, they're saying gods. Gods. It's plural. So that's what I mean. So everyone acts like they know the answer because they look up the word in the most recent dictionary on their phone and they get this word. That's not correct, because those words, that's just not what they mean. That's what they've been translated into thousands of years later, and that's what we say that they mean, but it's not. And if you want to understand what the word means, you have to go way, way back. And the only real way to do that nowadays is going to libraries and going through old dictionaries and doing research that way. So, I mean, there are plenty of people that I research, and I take a lot of information from specific researchers, but this stuff is all real. And despite what people think, people get angry about it because the truth is stranger than what we are told. And I think it gets deeper and deeper and crazier, honestly. So I'm just here to tell people what I've learned and share what I believe to be true. And words have meaning. And when you don't know the meaning of the word, you might as well, again, not know the word at all, in my opinion. Like, that's why, like, when I do something, I like to do it well. I do it as best as I can. I'm not saying I'm good at everything. I just say when I do something, I try hard. I give it my best, because what is the point of doing it if you're not going to try hard? So what is the point of learning words if you're not going to learn the actual meaning of the word? You're just going to learn the newest meaning, that the most recent changed meaning. That's not the meaning of the word. So learn the truth, please. I get deleted off of all these platforms quite a bit because I speak the truth, even though I don't swear or anything, but apparently I'm full of hate speech and blah blah. I don't know, it makes no sense to me. But my website is withthesun33.com. I'm creating a podcast right now, and I'm putting that up on Spotify and also up on my website, probably also Rumble and all of that fun stuff. So if you go to my website, you can find all my socials. I have a store. I sell some cool NASA shirts with logos, you know, with the snake tongue sticking through it, and the definition for beguiled, which is NASA. The word NASA is beguiled. It's old Hebrew definition, and it means to deceive, to lead astray. So again, learn the meanings of these words. You know, the word's church is actually the word Kirk. Kirk comes from Circe. Circe comes from Circe. Circe was a goddess that was known to lure men into their house, turn them into pigs, and eat them. That's the word church. Learn what these words mean, where they're getting them from, because the stories get very interesting, let me tell you. You know, I just went on earlier about how Adam and Eve were placed in the garden, and they were told to replenish the earth. Replenish means do again. Why? Let me ask you this, okay? When Adam and Eve made Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel, and Cain was afraid to get kicked out of the garden and leave because God was banishing him for killing his brother. He was afraid. He didn't want to go out because he was afraid he would get killed. He would get killed by the people out there. So God marked him and said, don't worry about it. You're not going to get killed. I marked you. Everyone's going to see the mark. Stay away from you. Who was he worried about? Because Adam and Eve were the first two people, and they made Cain and Abel. So those should be the fourth people, third and fourth on earth. So why was Cain afraid to leave? There was no one else around, right? Or were there other things and people and stuff going on, and we are misinterpreting the Bible because we do not know the meanings of the original words? I think that's what it is. But again, you know, this is entertainment and satire only. That's all this is. I love you all. I wish you all very, very blessed, wonderful days. And, you know, just, I wish you all health, you know, because we all need health, happiness, and truth. I love you all. Hit that button.